players do. Oh yeah, for sure, guaranteed.
You like cut Cross half out.
Nah.
Well, make sure you.
Because he wants to be the star mom. He needs to have all of it,
Are you
all of
serious?
himself in there.
He's half off too.
You're live.
Would you send him like Jeffrey Buckley?
Hey guys, this is Coach Trevor Hanas here with the Dallas Stars Elite and Texas Tigers. I coach a couple organizations here, been down here in Dallas for 15, 16 years coaching, and this is one of our first ever go live on the YouTube here channel. I'm going to kind of be hosting this thing here today with my son Cross Hanas and his good buddy and Jackson Nieuwendyk, who I've coached. I probably coached these guys for 4 or 5 years back when they were younger, back in mites and squirts. And so as we go through this here, I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to have people. I will encourage you guys to text in and chat in different questions that you guys will have for these guys. And we'll kind of go through these questions as we see them and stuff like that. But this should be a fun time. Just some questions, some answers. Get some insight for a lot of you players here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and hockey players that may be watching, in other states or up in Canada. And that's just the process of where they came from here with playing youth hockey here in Dallas and starting really from mites up and then going through the hockey system here and now where they are here in juniors. And obviously both of them are playing at a very high level of junior hockey. 2 different leagues, but 2 very good hockey leagues for junior hockey. And it's just we wanted to do this as something to give back to the hockey community and to a lot of players and even parents. This could be really informational for a lot of the parents as well. And so here we go. I'm going to be hosting this here, and we're just going to relax and have some fun. And I've got some questions for them, but we'd like to have as many questions from you guys as possible. So before I get into some of your guys' questions, I'm just going to kind of have Jackson introduce himself and kind of where he started his youth hockey and kind of where it went, and then I'll go to Cross and we'll go from there. Go ahead, Jackson.
Yeah, my name is Jackson Nieuwendyk. I've grown up in Dallas for a long time now, and me and Cross have always been playing for the Dallas Stars Elite, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm Cross Hanas. Like Jack said, we grew up playing together for about 10 years until last year we had to split up to go juniors. So, we just kind of always been buddies growing up here in Dallas playing hockey together.
So as we go through this year, both these boys are birth year 2002s. And so I've had the pleasure as a coach. I know this past year I coached the 05 Tigers and the 09 Stars Elite. But I've had the pleasure of coaching my son for 5 years when he was younger, and I believe I coached Jackson for 3 years is what it was. But back when they were mites, when the 02s were mites, I remember when we first got Jackson onto our team with the mites. There was a program called the Stars Selects over at Farmers Branch, and where the Tigers are now. And so I got Jackson. He was actually, I think the year before you played in-house hockey at Plano, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was you and Justin Robidaw.
Yeah.
And so both of those boys came into our spring camp that spring. And we put a good core of 02 players together and had a really good mite team. And that's where I kind of started to coach Jackson. Was that last year of mites for those 2. And then we moved on pretty much a lot of that team from the mite team over to the Stars Elite at Squirt Minor over at Valley Ranch. And that started the process, and I coached that team as well over for the Squirt Minor Stars Elite team. And then I also coached Squirt Majors for you guys. So basically 3 years in a row, I got to coach Jackson, and then I did coach Cross for a couple years before that, so I went 5 years in a row. And then after that, they went into Pee Wees, and I felt like it was time for me as a coach and dad to move on from coaching my son. And I think it's very beneficial, you guys, that you hear different voices and have different coaches throughout your youth hockey career. And in this instance, I felt like it was time to move on from the dad-son kind of connection as far as coaching and player goes, and it worked out really well. I just took a step back, and I know Cross and Jackson got coached by some very good coaches with Coach Jordan French and Barrett Wilson, and I believe it was Michael Young at Bantam Major, and then it was Eric Silverman at the U16 level. And from there, here we are. So I'll go into a couple questions with these guys, and then I got my phone on me as well, because I'm trying to get some, if I see some questions that come in, I've already had some questions come in prior to this, so we'll get through a lot of these. So if I miss your question that's on the chat and it slides through, maybe just ask that same question again as I'm going here, okay? So, because we're just kind of going to wing this thing here, but these boys have a lot of good information for you guys, because they're experiencing what a lot of you guys want to experience here, whether you're 10 years old now or 12 years old or 13, but they've gone through from the mites all the way up through the system, the Dallas system, at a high level, and now here we are. Jackson's playing USHL, and we'll go over that in a little bit in the process, and then Cross is playing Major Junior in the Western Hockey League. So we'll go to our next question here. Jackson, just explain to us your experience so far in Sioux City, in the USHL, the United States Hockey League, primarily really the best league to play, the junior hockey league to play in the U.S. to go college, to eventually get a college scholarship and go play Division I NCAA college. So Jackson, just go over a little bit of your experience so far, your first year in the league.
Yeah, it's been a good experience. It's definitely a lot different than hockey here in Dallas. The pace is a lot faster, and it's been a big change this year, but it's been really good. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
So, I mean, you being a 17-year-old in that league, that's really quite young. I mean, that league's pretty, it's pretty dominantly older guys, primarily 19 and 20-year-olds. I mean, there's a decent amount of 18-year-olds, but a 17-year-old in that league is very few, and very, very few 16-year-olds. So just explain to me, like, being a young guy on an older team in an older league, just the fact that, I mean, how was your ice time throughout the year? Obviously, you probably played with a lot of guys that are veterans and played 2 or 3 years in the league already. And sometimes I'm sure there's some games where you maybe never got as much ice as others. And just explain a little bit about the mindset there.
Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs, definitely, but you just gotta always keep your head up and just think about times will get better when you're not playing a lot, and just so it'll get better.
What about obviously? I know I remember as Coach Trevor, I used to play in the Western Hockey League back in the '90s, and I played there at 16 as well in that league, and it wasn't easy. I mean, it was a tough go, and it's not you got to work for everything that you get, all the ice time you get. So I know as a young guy, because I've been there, and a lot of us coaches have played at a high level and have been there as well. I know that practice time is really important, that you work hard in practice, and you show the coaches that you're giving it your all, and that you want to be in the lineup, and you want to play more minutes and more important minutes. And that was one thing that I remember as a kid growing up in that league, that you had to learn from experience too as well, playing with these older guys. Yeah. Cross, what about you in the Western Hockey League in Portland? I know you just went through your second year. Last year you were a 16-year-old in that league. I forewarned you as a dad and as / coach that there would be a lot of adversity, and there'd be a lot of things going on that first year that you would have to deal with and go through, and I feel like you've done that and gone through those things, and it wasn't easy though. So just explain a little bit.
Yeah, 16-year-old season, I mean, that is pretty tough. I mean, it is the youngest age to move away at. So, I mean, especially across the country for me, I'm up in Portland, another big city just by myself. First time moving away from home was pretty tough. The whole experience kind of, I mean, just going to a new team, meeting a bunch of new players, new guys that you have to become teammates with. I don't know, just kind of like Jackson was saying, like, I mean, first few years in the league or your first year in the league, you don't get much ice time or as much ice time as the older guys, obviously, but you just, like my dad was saying, like, practice is very important. You just got to work hard all the time, I mean, because, you know, the next year you're going to get a bigger role on the team, so you just got to keep working to get better at that. And, I mean, like Jackson said, you just got to keep your head up when you're that age. I mean, because if you think about it, not a lot of people are in that league at that age, but like you're one of the few that are, so you just got to keep your head up and keep working because you know it's going to get better from there.
Mm-hmm. So let's just go back, boys, here a little bit. Like, talk to these. I'm sure majority of our audience here today are kids that are in the DFW area, whether they play for the Dallas Penguins or Texas Tigers or Brahmas or Stars Elite. You know, obviously the process here down in Texas, here and down in Dallas is, you know, you want to be channeling your way to be playing for the Stars Elite and getting into the AAA hockey, and you know, and a lot of the kids that maybe aren't at that level right now is not the end of the world. I mean, we've seen a lot of kids that have come from playing A-level hockey or AA level hockey, and all of a sudden they're playing for the Stars Elite at maybe Pee-wees or maybe early Bantams, and the next thing you know, these kids have worked so hard and really had a passion for the game that you know, now they're off to play juniors, and you know, all of a sudden they've got a scholarship playing college NCAA hockey. So just Cross, if you could just talk about your experience from the squirt minor years all the way, just go through your process all the way up to midgets a little bit, and what you did as a player to get where you are right now.
Yeah, I mean, starting early, I mean, me and Jackson, we've been playing together for a long, long time now, and a lot of our teams growing up was that same chunk of kids always, so we always had a really good mesh of team. We were all best friends, right, because we were always, just a huge chunk of us stayed together for so many years, but, I mean, we all worked hard together. I mean, in the weight room or dry land, when we were younger in practice and stuff, we always pushed each other, because I know for our birth year and a lot of that core chunk of guys, we were really competitive kids. We were all best friends, but we hated to lose against each other, so we all made each other better by being so competitive, I think. And just continuing on, I mean, we still had that same chunk of core kids. I mean, things happen to other people, I mean, throughout their careers and whatever they want to do, but even for me, I mean, me, Jackson, a few other O2s, we stayed together for literally 10, 11 seasons straight until we had to split up to go to juniors. So, I mean, everything, I think, just competing against each other every day in and out, being best friends was kind of just the thing that kind of pushed us the most.
Mm-hmm. Jackson, can you talk a little bit about that from your squirt years all the way up to where you are now, and just maybe talk about how hard you guys worked and how hard you worked on and off the ice, how important the spring camps were in the training process, and like Cross said, getting in the weight room, the shooting room, working on your shot, working on your snapshot, your stick handling. I know that you two did even some academy work for about 2 or 3 years as well to even get more extra ice time on top of the 3 or 4 practices you guys got a week with your team, and as well as like the spring camps and the training that we did in off season.
Yeah, well, we both always had a passion for hockey, so like that was really easy for us, just stick handling at home all the time, and just looking forward to skating. Yeah. I would say just working on our hands all the time at home and shooting pucks in the garage. We just did all the time.
Okay, so that takes me to the point. So one thing that Jackson and Cross just said was the passion for the game, and you know, we're gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to you just guys a little bit because of, you know, I've been a coach for 16 years now, and I've literally seen some kids that should have had pretty long NHL careers. That's how good they were talent-wise down here. I mean, they had great skill, they had great talent, and man, for whatever reason, you know, things came up as they got into Bantams and maybe got into midget hockey, And as you get into 14, 15, 16 years old, you know, it's kind of sad to see as a coach because they kind of lost their passion for the game because, you know, other things came up and they kind of just didn't follow through with their game and their desire to be the best in the game. And, you know, whether it was, you know, the cars, the fast cars, or it was drugs or alcohol, or it was maybe, you know, girls or whatever it was. There's a lot of things that could distract a hockey player and really take his passion away from the game. And then all of a sudden, one day, you just see a guy that was a great hockey player that had great skill and great talent, and all of a sudden, he no longer wants to play or no desire to even work hard to get to the highest level possible. And to me as a coach, that was really sad to see, and I still see it today, where guys really haven't done, you know, really maxed out their full potential and given it everything they got. And one thing I encourage you guys is to leave it all out there. I mean, these two boys here have a lot of passion. I know them very well, and they love the game. And they didn't let distractions in their life dictate how the rest of their career was going to go. They really just stayed focused on their career, and they still are very focused on their career. And now they're playing at a high level. And hey, it's not the highest level they want to get to right now, but they're still on that really good path. Okay? So as we get into some here, I want to go ask some questions here that are being asked. I'm on my phone here, so like I said, we're just kind of going through this here. And we'll go through there's a lot more questions to be had here. I'm sure everyone's got a lot of time, so we want to take as much time as possible to hang with these guys because there's a lot of good information that they can relay to you guys, all right? Let's go here. Here's one from Ryan Long. Ryan Long. Hey, Longer, how's it going, buddy? He's asking, hey, Cross, what is your favorite pregame meal and how long before a game do you eat? What's one of your pregame meals?
Oh, my billets, I'm fortunate to have really, really good billets. I mean, I love those. I love them. I love living with them. They cook amazing stuff for us, for me and my roommate before games, for dinner all the time. My favorite one for pregame, probably chicken pot pie or some Alfredo with chicken. It's probably my favorite ones. We like to stay with the pasta kind of stuff, more with chicken, not red meat before games because it kind of slows you down, but stuff like that. I think chicken pot pie or chicken Alfredo is probably my favorite one.
Jackson?
Yeah, on road games you kind of get what you get, but
Yeah.
at home, like in the morning after a pregame skate, I would just have like a piece of chicken with a bunch of other stuff,
Okay.
and then I would just take a nap and get like a granola bar or something or a banana after the nap.
So Longer's also asking, how long before a game do you eat? Probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours?
Before the game,
On a 7 o'clock game, you're probably eating pregame at around 3, 2:33.
Yeah, like one.
one.
Okay, so
Probably
we're looking at
one.
about 4 hours before a game. And then,
You said a 7:30 game?
yeah.
No, like 7 o'clock game. Me and Claire eating around 1:30 probably.
Okay, so we're looking at about 5-6 hours longer. And then you guys probably put a little bit of a shake in you or something, or a bar, protein bar or
I
something.
know. I like to
Pardon
take
me.
a couple hour nap and then get a snack after that.
Snack
and
after that.
Maybe at the rink after you're like starting to warm up and stuff, get us maybe a peanut butter sandwich in there.
Okay, awesome. That was a good question. We got a question here from Liam McMurray. What does it feel like to be playing in one of the best junior hockey leagues? Jackson, go ahead. You talk about that league. Obviously, it is the best league in the U.S., and it's a great league to get a college scholarship. And I think they say something like a 83 or 85% rate of guys who play in that league get scholarships at NCAA. So maybe just elaborate on the league.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. Obviously, there's a lot of good players in the NHL that have come out of it.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just pretty cool.
Okay. Cross?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm in a different league than he is, and obviously I can't do the NCAA route, but I think I like being in my league. I think it's a really competitive league. Everybody wants to make the NHL, which I think is just another competitive thing that's in my blood and stuff. So just competing against people who want to someday play in the NHL like you, I mean, just a really competitive league, I'd say. A lot of skill, a lot of compete, a lot of toughness, a lot of physical play.
Well, on that question here, and that was a really good question. Just elaborate. We'll talk just a little bit about both leagues for a few minutes, because major junior hockey, a lot of you guys don't even know the difference and what route do you want to go, or what could happen if you go this route. Well, in Cross's instance, he's playing major junior hockey. Really, really good junior hockey. I mean, some of the best players that ever played the game played major junior hockey. It is the quicker route to get to the pros for the most part, but it really depends on the player. Major junior hockey has more of a pro style schedule, and you play a lot of games, which the USHL you do as well, but it does prepare you for pro, but also the college route and getting your degree going to college. So by signing a contract, when Cross signed with the Portland Winterhawks, his NCAA eligibility was voided out at that point, because NCAA looks at major junior hockey as pro hockey. They get paid to play. It's very little money, but they get paid to play. But every year that Cross plays in major junior hockey, he's getting a year of college paid for, if he doesn't sign an NHL contract on the back end of his WHL career. So let's just say, for an example, nothing happens to go pro for him 3 years down the road, and he will have, because he signed at 15, he got an extra year. He will have 6 years in his back pocket to go play. And the way it would work for a Texas kid or a kid down here would be that league will pay for your schooling to go to college for any state-funded college of your choice in your state. So being from Texas here, I mean, it wouldn't be a private school, but it would be like maybe Texas Tech or Texas A&M or University of Texas, and they would pay for your schooling and your tuition to go for those 5 or 6 years that you would have. So you would get schooling paid for on the back end if you don't go pro and sign a pro contract, NHL contract. Jackson's route is a great route for and like I said, it depends on what you want to do as a player and what type of player you are. Jackson, and the route that a lot of players take to go USHL, is a great route. It's great hockey. Guys are getting NHL drafted out of that league. There's NHL scouts watching you, and but there's a lot of college scouts watching you too, trying to get you to a scholarship and sign you to a 4-year scholarship to come to their school and get your schooling and play hockey there. I know Jackson is getting, I'm sure, you got 3, 4, 5 schools already talking to you?
Yeah, it's just like definitely a developmental league.
Mhm.
Like the goal is to go to college and
Yes.
then have a career in college. So, yeah.
And then from there, also to go hopefully play pro hockey or NHL hockey, and that would be Jackson's goal as well. So right now, Jackson's in the works of probably talking to 3 to 4 to 5 schools, and he's still got 1 more year of high school. He'll be going back to the USHL to Sioux City, and hopefully here in the next year, he will make a commitment to one of the schools that have been talking to him and wanting his services. So that's a big decision he's going to have to make here in the next year, as a family and as for him as himself as a hockey player. So that's kind of the different route of the 2 leagues. I know that a lot of you guys that are watching here are Dallas Stars fans, so I'm just trying to come up with a couple players on the team that have gone those different routes. I know Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn played in the league that Cross plays in. Tyler Sagan played major junior. Who are some of the college guys that would be? Didn't Ben Bishop play college? I know he played in the North American Hockey League, and then he might have went a year of college.
Wasn't he Maine?
He might have been.
With Jordan French, right?
I believe so. Yes, he played junior A hockey, and I think he might have played a year of college. There'll probably be a few guys, I just not off the top of my head right now, for the Stars that played college, went to college, and now are playing for the Stars. So there's many routes to get to the top of the mountain, okay? And it really depends on the player, where you are in your development, and what route you want to take. Both are great routes, so, okay? Let's go to another question here. Carson Frisky. Hey, Carson, how's it going, buddy? He's asking a question. Biggest challenges coming up through youth hockey, and how did you guys overcome them? Cross, maybe you can answer this question. And thinking back through the years playing for the Stars Elite, some of the challenges and overcome. I know you used to be a kid. Then I know you've grown out of this a little bit. Maybe you can elaborate on this, but where you used to get a little bit frustrated if things didn't go your way, or if you got the puck taken from you, or something happened. And Cross had to sit on the bench in the middle a few times and grab a piece of the pine and watch the hockey game from the bird's eye view in the middle. And not only did I have to sit him in the middle, but the coaches after me had to sit him a little bit in the middle. And I think that taught him not to act that way. And so Cross, maybe elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely one of those kids. I think it's just another part of my competitive aspect. I always wanted to be the best, and if some kid who took the puck away from me when I'm trying to score another goal takes the puck away from me, I got mad. I'd slam my stick a few times, but I'd get put in the middle a few times, and I was glad he stopped coaching me because it was almost 3 times a game, maybe more. I think another challenge growing up for the Stars Elite was, and I can speak for me and Jack, because we were both kind of late bloomers, hitting puberty a little bit. And I mean, at the age of 12, 13, we were the smallest guys in our team by far. And I think just another thing of just us and our passion, we just kept working hard and stuff and not letting that stop us.
Yes.
Having guys be way bigger than we were at that time, being more mature than we were, being stronger and stuff, that never really stopped our work ethic of trying and still wanting to be the best, even when I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same way. I mean, maybe there are a lot of guys that are matured faster than a lot other guys out there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, keep going. Like, you're gonna hit that one day, just like we were. I mean, we were the late bloomers, and now we're probably bigger than most of those guys are now, I'd say. So,
Basically, yes.
I mean, it'll happen. So don't just keep pushing. Like, it's nothing that you gotta like worry about really.
Mm-hmm. So what they're saying, and like like we said before in this little talk here that we're having, is these two boys have never lost a vision. They've always had the vision and the dream to play at the highest level, and just like a lot of you guys do, you can't lose that vision or dream. The minute you just stop thinking about that vision or that dream that you have to play at the highest level, then that's when it goes down. That's when it shuts off. And like I talked about earlier, Coach Trevor's seen some very talented players and got into just different things that took away their focus, took away their desire for the game. And ultimately, it's a desire that really has to come from you guys, and it's got to come from deep within. I know Jackson comes from a very great hockey background family, as well as Cross does too. So they have that, but at the end of the day, it's not me that was going to get Cross to play major junior hockey. It had to be him. Just like it wasn't Jackson's dad, Joe, that would have gotten Jackson. It's Jackson that has to do it. And they've had the passion for it. We, as parents, directed and helped direct them and really gave them everything that they could do and provided for them. But at the end of the day, it's got to be the passion from within. And, if any parents are watching out there, I would just say to just really encourage your kids and just to keep encouraging them. I mean, don't overstep where it feels like you guys want it more than them. I've seen that through the years where, as a coach, where parents actually want it more than their kid does. And then their kid finally just says, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm not too much into this. It's got to be where there's a fine line as a parent where you just continue to encourage, and there's going to be ups and downs. I mean, there's no question. You're going to go through seasons and different things that will happen where you may not make a hockey team. You may play A or double A for 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. Doesn't matter. Keep pushing your game. Keep working on your game. Keep your mindset right. Keep focused. And, eventually you want to get to that AAA level, and then no, there's no scouts, no junior scouts. There's no college scouts that are looking at you until Bantam Major. They're just starting to look at you a little bit. So there's lots of time if you're a squirt or if you're a peewee and haven't made the Stars Elite yet. I mean, if you're playing for the Tigers, work hard for that coach that you're playing for and be a great leader and a great worker and just continue to work on your game. Or if you're playing for the Dallas Penguins or the McKinney North Stars, whatever it is, and just make it your goal to try and get to the furthest you can go. And then at that point, when it's all said and done, you can say, you know what, I gave it my all, and this is where I got, and that's where it goes. And I'm sure at that point, other doors will open. Let's go to another question here from Andrew Thiessen. He wants to ask, have you guys always played the same position? Jackson.
Yeah, I've always really played center. Like, when I was really young, though, I played left wing, and actually this year, for about like 3 or 4 months, I was playing left wing, but at the end, I went back to the center.
Okay, good. Ross?
I've always been a left winger, kind of. Never really, I don't know. Never really. I take some draws here and there, but never like play center. I've always been a left winger, pretty much.
Okay.
Or I can play any wing, pretty much.
And I would say this as players. I know they didn't play much D growing up, but a lot of kids that play youth hockey and can play a little bit of defense and play some forward and a little bit of both. I really think that it all arounds your game as you get older, by maybe Bantam Major or into midgets, where now you kind of really find where your fit is as what position you're going to play.
Like, cool.
I think that there's a lot to be said of playing some defense when you're younger and just understanding the game and just seeing the play out in front of you, and then going to play forward and learning the positions up and forward. I just think there's a beneficial to both, and you'll find your knack as a player. Coaches will usually have a good eye for what type of player you look like you should be and where you can excel at the best. So that would be good. Let's go to a couple more questions here. Caden Neeser. Hopefully you're still watching here. I got your question here, buddy. Neeser's in the house, guys. Neeser asks, what do you find is different with training on your junior team versus training when you were with the Dallas Stars Elite? Cross, maybe you can answer this. What do you see the difference of training at Portland compared to the Stars Elite?
The guy, our trainer, he's been around for a long time, so he's been with the NHL level and the junior level for a long time, and he really does push us really hard. He gives us a lot of hard workouts. We do really hard bike rides before our workouts. But we do a lot of different things though. Like, we always have a long workout, but it's like a bunch of different stuff. Maybe one day it'll be more of a leg kind of day, one day it'll be more of an upper body, one day it'd be more of just a all around kind of thing. But always having that hard bike ride is always part of the workout. So probably just the bike ride would be the different part, I'd say, from growing up and now, I'd say.
Yeah. I know that at that level, Cross, you know, with the training part of it, Nace, it's such at a higher level because now these kids their bodies are more mature and they're becoming young men. So there's different aspects to the age, right? They're obviously bench pressing more. They're doing a lot more weights on their squats and stuff like that. Being young at the squirt, peewee levels, we don't want to do a whole lot of lifting of weights until you kind of more develop into your body. And also with Cross playing and Jackson playing with older guys on the team that are more men, like the 19, 20-year-olds. There are a lot of 195, 200 pounders that are men. They're men, and they're strong, and they got good work ethics, and on the ice in practice, off the ice. So I know Cross has learned a lot through the older guys on just how hard you have to train if you really want to get to the next level. And maybe you could just talk about your captain, John Ludwig, a little bit, Cross.
Yeah, John, he's my captain this year. Played with him my 16-year-old season also. He's another guy that has probably one of the best hockey stories I've ever heard. He grew up just playing in his hometown in Kamloops, and then he never really got looked at much, never got drafted into the major junior. played in this one league called the KIHL or something, and it's kind of just like a junior B kind of league, and just fighting pretty much all in that league, I guess. It's from the stories he's told us. So it's kind of like you got to be tough to play in that league, and then he got looked at by our team, then got asked to come to camp, and then he made the team the next year. First year for him, big thing for him. He was kind of an in and out of the lineup guy. This was the year before I came, so I didn't really get to experience it, but he was just an in and out of the lineup guy, and he just kind of fought mostly when he would play, try to stay in the lineup. And then the next year when I came into the league, it was his second year, and man, that guy's work ethic is absolutely off the charts, and how hard he works off the ice, how hard he works on the ice. You can see it because he's the strongest person I've ever seen in my entire life. Honestly, like he's in all aspects, like upper body, lower body, core, and everything. He's just like the strongest person I've ever seen, and it translates for him on the ice because he's a defenseman, and he's probably the best defenseman in our league this year.
And what just happened to him here last month?
Yeah, coming from that one league, he played a couple years in my league, and then he got drafted his second year eligibility in the NHL by Florida in the 3rd round. And then this past year, he had another huge year. Put up a lot of numbers. Was probably the best defenseman in our league. Best defensive, best offensive defenseman. And then he just got signed with the Florida Panthers in the NHL a few weeks ago. So,
one thing I would say, guys, as we move on to the next question, is the training is, and for Jackson and for Cross, they've seen how hard at this level, the level that they're at now, they've seen how hard these guys train and how passionate, and now they're in another group, right? So now when you climb the mountain, now they're getting closer to the peak. So now it's only the better are still in. And one thing I know from Cross, and I'm sure it's the same thing with you, Jackson, is that you guys have just got a different mentality about the training because you know how hard it is and how hard the league is and how much these guys work to be the best.
Yeah.
You know?
Like for me, the main difference I see from training in juniors to like youth hockey is just like everyone in juniors is more committed to like getting better. Like in youth hockey, a lot of guys would just mess around in workouts.
That's right.
And only like the guys that were super focused would move on.
That's right. That's very true.
Yeah, another thing for me, for workouts, whether it's the whole, like the bike ride, the workout, you don't want to be that one guy on the team that's not working as hard as the other guys right next to you, because people see that, and it's not like you don't feel like a part of the team when you're that guy that not working as hard as the other guys when you're trying to win games and win championships. So.
Yep. Great question, Naser. That was awesome. All right, we'll keep her going here. We got Stormy says, "Hey, Jackson and Cross, who's your guys' favorite player?" Jackson, favorite player.
My favorite player was probably Pavel Datsyuk.
Ooh, he had some dirty mitts, didn't he?
I just love watching him play, and really creative.
Yes, he was. Yeah. That would be your guy?
Probably.
Cross, who's your guy?
My guy, since I've been, 6 years old, has always been Evgeny Malkin, so that's, forever.
Player 2.
Hence the 71.
Yeah. We got a question here. Your good buddy Fergie, boys. Fergie's online. Ian Ferguson, he plays in the same league with Cross. They played against each other about 12 times this year. Fergie played, the questions he's asking is his players playing AA until Bantams and then play elite. That's just another question we kind of really talked about is, hey, don't get discouraged if you're a AA player for 5-6 years. If you keep working hard and keep grinding it out and keep working on your skill, we see it every year as Stars Elite coaches. There's kids coming out of the AA leagues all the time that all of a sudden just come out of nowhere. And Ferguson's a very good example. He played AA hockey all the way until Bantam Major.
Yeah, he joined us in U14 and has billeted up here for U14 and then our U16 seasons. Came from Houston, and he's another guy like you're saying, he just puts his head down and works as hard as he can. He's one of the hardest workers I know. So, for you guys who played AA, you just put the time and effort in, and look where Fergus is now. So,
Fergus is. So it's also definitely not a race. everyone's on their own path and everyone
right.
develops differently. So.
Absolutely. And Fergie's another guy that's very committed and very focused, very passionate about the game, and here he is playing major junior hockey. And he played in Houston for the, I guess it was the Wild?
Yeah, he played for a while.
The junior Wild,
all the
growing
way
up.
until U14.
So, that's good. Let's go down here, some more questions. We got here, hold on a second. What is your, Andre Johnson says, what is your favorite scoring? So what would be your scoring move? What's your favorite scoring move? Jackson? If you're going in on a breakaway, like what would be one of your bread and butters, I guess?
Probably just like a shot is the most effective. So like me personally, just like low blocker as a lefty.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to shoot.
That's a good point. And Cross and I, we talked about it in our accuracy shooting video the other day. Lefties as low blocker is a good spot.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great spot for a lefty to go low blocker.
Just like
Cross?
maybe a little fake and then low blocker.
Yeah.
That's the goal we got.
You want some deception, right?
Yeah.
You want deception. And that was actually our first video. So it's been good. Cross, go ahead.
For me, my kind of bread and butter move that I kind of do, I like for breakaways, maybe shootouts. Come down the left side, I kind of just like fake, go to the backhand, and then pull back real quick and go 5-hole. Worked out a few times for me, so
That's awesome. Yeah.
it's kind of there.
Okay, we got another one here. We're talking. They're asking a question on: have either of you guys been paying attention to your draft stock for the NHL? Jackson, go ahead.
For me, like this year I didn't like play a ton. Like next year I'll probably play a lot more. So I haven't really noticed that. I'm just not too worried about it right now.
Yeah, I know that Jackson's been on the rankings and the ratings, and so we don't know how this whole NHL draft thing is going to play out. But Jackson's definitely, you're almost an 03, right? You're about a couple months away. Jackson's birthday's almost in 03. He's just before that cutoff date of September 15th. Yeah. So Jackson's going to be in a position next year to play a lot more at Sioux City and really have more of an opportunity even to develop his game more.
Yeah.
So, and then Cross, go ahead on that question.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you notice it, but another thing is for me, like, you don't want to get that too much in your head, right? You don't want to, like, feel like you're this big shot just because you're ranked to go in the NHL. But the thing is about those, I mean, it's not like the NHL guys who are ranking those. It's just some sites or whatever and just some people. But, I mean, it doesn't matter about that stuff. It just matters if whatever team likes you, kind of. So, I mean, you notice it because I play with a lot of good players who are also on there. And, I mean, one of my good buddies on my team that I play with now is ranked to go like top first rounds, but I know as knowing him that he should be top 15, top 10 pick. So I mean the rankings don't really mean anything at all because
So I will tell you this: these two boys are very passionate about the game, but they're also very humble guys, and we want to stay that way as hockey players. You want to be. You know, the old saying is, be a warrior on the ice, but be a gentleman off the ice. And that's a saying that's kept with me for a lot of years. When I was playing junior, when one of my coaches told me that saying and said, you know, you act right off the ice and you know, you be a great teammate in the locker room, you be a great teammate in practice, on the ice, and really work as hard as you can in games and in practice. And good things will happen. And so with the NHL coming up and the rankings, we'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, it's a good question, and it's exciting times for these boys, and better days are ahead with their career. So it's been good. So another question from Tina Michaels. Cross, why did you pick the WHL route versus the USHL route?
For me, yeah, it's kind of another toss-up. I mean, being an American kid from Texas, I mean, it's not a usual way to go to the WHL, major junior route. But for me, I mean, having my dad played 5 years in that league, my cousin played 4 years in that league, my uncle played years in that league, Just having that Canadian background for me was probably one of the things. I mean, it's just since a young age I've always just wanted to be in that league, just to follow in their footsteps, and I just think I was ready for that league to play there. So, I mean, I probably wouldn't have chose that way if me and my dad didn't think that I was ready to play there. But yeah, it was kind of a tough decision, but I kind of knew what I wanted to do for a long time. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And then Jackson, we had a question here for you. We got one. Talks about wants to know. Jaden Mills wants to know more on how you made the transition into the USHL. So maybe just go back from your Bantam major year at the Stars Elite, and then you played. You and Cross played on the U16 team, and then Cross would have went to Portland the year after. But then maybe just pick it up from that second year of U16, and then I guess the USHL draft, and then get picked and making the team. Just kind of go through that process.
When we were 15, we played on the U16 team,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was the year for the USHL draft. And then I got drafted in the 5th round at the end of that year. But then the team I got drafted by ended up folding a year later, my second year of U16. So then they did a redraft, and I played 2 years of U16. He only played one.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this year I just played in USHL.
So when you went into Sioux City and got drafted by them, and you went into training camp, obviously that was probably back in May or June
In training camp?
to try and make the team.
Oh yeah, like in July. and
Because
June.
I know that you were in the process of maybe going to prep school.
Yeah.
Jackson was probably going to maybe go to prep school out in Northeast.
Yeah.
And he thought maybe that possibly it would be maybe a year from now that he would, or from last year that he would play in the USHL. But maybe just elaborate on how you went to camp and had a really good camp and made the team.
Yeah, I just had a good mindset going in. I wasn't like too nervous just because why would you be?
Yeah.
And just tried my best. Good things happened.
And then Jackson ended up making Sioux City at 17, which is very, like I said, very rare for the younger guys to make that league at that age. So it's tough. So good question there from the Michaels. We got Jackson Craig. He has a question. Hey Jackson, how's it going, bud? How does it feel to your season postponed or canceled? How does it feel, guys, that this thing is wiped out? I mean, Cross, maybe I'll let you answer that. But the team that you guys had, it was a good team.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was really, really bitter taste. I mean, for all of my team. I mean, we were the number one team in our league at that point when we got shut down. And we had a really, really good team, really good group of guys. And we really thought this year we could have made it really far, maybe even won the championship, gone to the World Cup. So, I mean, just this happening out of the blue and it getting canceled just a couple weeks before playoffs started, it really sucked for us. I mean, just because we thought we had the group of guys to go super far and win a ring and stuff. And, I mean, I really feel for our 20-year-olds that can't play in the league next year who just their season ends like that, their career ends like that, just when we thought that we could have gone all the way and won the championship, and then we just get dished home because the season just gets ended. So, I mean, it really sucked for us.
Jackson, on your team, were you guys going to be making the playoffs? Or
No,
you guys were kind of bottom team, so you were pretty much close to done, right?
Yeah, we still had like 16 games left though, but it kind of sucked for me too because like I was gaining confidence as the year was going on, so I was looking forward to playing more games.
Yeah. So yeah, this time is no good for anybody right now, and hopefully everyone's staying safe and we can get back to normal here as soon as possible. We're all anxious to get to the hockey rink, like big time anxious. As a coach, I'm ready to see you guys and get back on the ice and get training, and so are these boys. Get back on the ice and get skating. I mean, we got the itch going for sure. We want to get back on the ice. So. To follow up that other question, Jackson, Tina, Michael's had the other on the flip side of that question is why did you select the USHL instead of the WHL?
For me, like I said about playing 2 years of U16, I just wasn't ready to go to major junior at a younger age like Cross was, and also my dad played college, so that definitely factor.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question because, like I said, we go back to every player is different and there's different routes for different players. There's no one route, and you got to feel what the best fit is for that particular player. As you get into, well, guys, I say Bantam hockey, or real hockey, man hockey doesn't start till Bantam Majors. So anything before that is boy hockey. Once you get to Bantam Majors, now you start to develop and see what type of player you're kind of making out to be and where you are development wise, and have you grown and have you matured and all this stuff. There's just a lot of factors. Just control what you can control. That is how hard you work, how much you work on your skill, how you eat, your nutrition. Are you watching hockey to make yourself a better hockey player? These guys watch a lot of hockey. They watch a lot of videos, how to score. They watch a lot of guys on, I'm sure Jackson's dad's given him a lot of clips of when he played, and you need to do this in this area of the ice or in your D zone or the offensive zone. They've watched the game a lot and they become students of the game. Okay, so that's a big one. Weston King asked you guys, what is your favorite stick brand?
CCM.
CCM for Cross.
Our league
What's
is
Jackson?
Bauer, so
Okay.
we don't have to use Bauer, and I've always used it.
Okay, so Bauer for Jackson. So good question, Weston King. Andre says, what is your best goal? Jackson, what was your best goal that you remember? Your most memorable goal or best goal?
Probably like U14 playing against the Penguins. I remember at a nice goal. Yeah, probably.
Like Pittsburgh Penguins? Like
No.
the Junior Penguins?
No, and
Or
Dallas
DJHA?
Penguins.
Oh, DJHA?
Yeah, that was one team.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
We always had some battles with that team, eh?
Cross, what would be your best goal?
My best goal, my two that stand out to me is probably, they're both overtime winners. It was my first one, when we played U16 together, it was regionals. We were playing the Colorado Thunderbirds, and whoever won that game went to the finals, and I ended up getting a breakaway in OT and won it, and it was at home at Valley, and it was just crowded. Everybody was just kind of going nuts, and it was just sick because T-Birds were our rivals, and that was probably one of my favorites. And then this past year, it was actually one of the last games we played against Victoria. We went to OT also. Not knowing that the season was going to end, right? And there was a team that was right behind us in the rankings. They're actually just ahead of us, like 1 point, and they ended up losing that night. So if we won, we went ahead. And without even knowing that, we went to overtime against this one team, and I ended up scoring in overtime. And actually, my dad and my brother and my two uncles and my papa and my two cousins were there to see it. And so I had a lot of family in the crowd, and it was awesome. It was probably one of my favorite goals ever. Ended up putting our team in first place. So
Yeah.
it was probably my favorite goals. Yeah.
And that those videos that we showed before we went on the clip, that was one of the Cross's goal, and then we showed a goal from Jackson when he was in Sioux City. Let's go to another question here. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying this and having fun. We're kind of just we can keep going here for a while here. I love this. I love talking about hockey. I love talking about their experiences, and you guys should enjoy this and really soak this in and just know that there's a bright future for you guys if you really put your mind to it and really work hard, okay, and work on your skill sets. Let's go here to another question. What is your preferred pregame song? Jackson, do you have a preferred pregame song? This is coming from, it says NHL Highlights is the guy, so I don't know exactly who his name is, but anyway, I'm just going through the list here. We're getting lots of questions, so that's good. That's awesome. So, do you have a preferred pregame song?
I don't know if I have really a song. Like, we'll just listen to music in the locker room. It's probably just like rap or hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
But no particular song?
No song.
No,
Really.
you don't need a certain thing to get you going.
No.
For me, I'm kind of the same way. I don't really need a song to get me going. Just kind of like my own focus. But songs that play in the locker room, I guess, are kind of the same always. But one thing that me and my roommate always do, we always play the same song before we show up to the rink, and we just play Thunderstruck by AC/DC. We always roll into the rink like that, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah. So there you go. No one particular song for these guys. Here's another one from NHL 0024. So I'm not sure who that is, but if you could pick a college to play hockey for, what college would you play for, Jackson?
Ooh.
If you had one particular college that hopefully they come knocking on your door, who would that one college be?
I don't really know. Like, probably because my dad went there, Cornell.
Okay.
Probably them or North Dakota would be
Okay, there you go. So Jackson's dad Joe went to Cornell University, and great academic school, and I believe it's in the Ivy League, right?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They
an
were-
Ivy League school over there in New York, and then his other pick would be North Dakota. So good question.
Not for you, eh?
Nah.
Andre asked another question. How did you guys get to the Dallas Stars Elite? Well, I can answer that question. Is basically down here every player should be really trying out to get into the Dallas Stars Elite spring camp, and from the spring camp you get invited into the spring camp, and hopefully over the course of 6 weeks of training, you get picked for a Dallas Stars Elite team, and if not, then you go play AA to wherever you feel is the best choice for you, and continue to develop, and then the next year try the same thing again. I mean, we always encourage all of our A and AA players to go and try and make the Stars Elite program. And if not, we've got pretty much all of us Stars Elite coaches coach a AA team as well, whether it's the Dallas Penguins or Texas Tigers, so we've got great coaching to help you get to that next level. So just continue to try year by year, and hopefully you'll have a green helmet one day and play for the Stars Elite. So. We got another one. We got, what is your, I'm just going down through here. First warm-up score. What is your guys' favorite? No, that's the songs still. Oh, can we, Jaden Mills asks about, can we talk about the mental aspect of the game? Oh, great question. I mean,
Big question.
this is to me, and I'll maybe let you guys talk a little bit after this, but to me, this is really, I mean, there's so many things there's so many ups and downs throughout a season and where you're playing that your mindset has always got to be right. And you don't let your highs get too high and your lows get too low, but you got to keep an even keel with your mindset. And the mental part of the game, I mean, obviously we just talked about this last season, or this season even for Jackson, and just, maybe sometimes not getting as much ice, even for Cross's season, for sure the last season for him. There was just a lot of times the mental part of his game, you just got to stay focused and continue to work hard. But do any of you guys want to answer that question a little bit?
Yeah, I will. There's just a lot of ups and downs, and like in the downs, you just can't get your head down and get discouraged when things aren't going your way. You always got to look at the end goal and what you're doing to get better. That's all that really matters.
Yes, absolutely. Cross?
For me, yeah, I think the mental side for me of the game was, I think when I was younger, obviously, I mean, sometimes I get frustrated and stuff. I mean, I still do just because I'm a really competitive guy. But for the mental side for that was channeling that frustration and not onto myself, because a big thing that I would do, and I was always just bring myself down, I think, from that frustration. But I think I've gotten a lot better at just making that mental stuff and turning it into physical on the ice or in the weight room or in practice, whatever it is. So I mean, like I said, just like Jackson said, your lows can't get too low and absolutely kill you like sometimes I used to do to myself, because I know when I make myself frustrated, I'd play the worst hockey of my life. So
Yeah, I mean, you just can't play the game frustrated, right? I mean, to me, it's all about confidence. I mean, when you play at your highest level of confidence, that's when you will be playing at the highest peak of your game. And where does the confidence come from? It comes from your mindset, okay? And it's your mind and your heart. And being a great teammate and knowing that, hey, if you didn't have a great shift or that shift didn't go your way, not to get so frustrated that you come back and that one shift wrecks the rest of your game. I mean, scouts don't want those type of players. They don't want to deal with guys that are just you just don't know one day to the next what you're getting, what type of player you're getting. They want those players that are confident, that are consistent and that bring a good aspect of their game. Okay. Andre asks, how much training have you guys done since we're all quarantined? Maybe you guys, whoever wants to talk about the training that you guys are getting in right now?
I'll go. Yeah, so me, Jack, and our other buddies who aren't with us right now, like Cole Telecki and Ian Ferguson, we all train with the same people or with the same trainer at the same gym, and I know that our trainer has sent us like workouts to do at home, and like Fergie's in Houston and Cole's at his house, and me and Jackson we do them so every day, and just kind of do them outside. Mostly just body weight stuff, a lot of sprints, agility right now. It's kind of just because we don't have much equipment, so.
So a lot of it is they're going to the school in behind our house and getting on doing a lot of, like you said, quick feet and sprints and stuff like that. We got another good question here from Riley Gillen from the Stars Elite 2010s. So that's a young man. He wants to know, how much long/short distance running do you guys do? Is one better than the other?
Yeah, I'd say definitely for hockey players, probably short distance. Like in our workout program, there's a lot of short distance running. So yeah, just sprints is probably a lot better for hockey players rather than long distance.
Yeah, I'd say the short also just because of quick starts. I mean, you always want to have that quick twitch on the ice also, and it translates from the track or whatever to the ice. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also like in hockey, shifts are short and hard, so like that's just the same as running.
Sure, absolutely. Jake Marks, hey Jake, how's it going, buddy? He's got a question here. Is it different training from home than at the rink? I mean, obviously that. Go ahead, cross on that one.
I mean, yeah, it is different just because I mean the gym we work out at has a bunch of equipment for us to use that we're fortunate to use. To train and stuff, but yeah, at home, I mean, we don't have much equipment, so we just kind of use ourselves and whatever our trainer sends us to do, so a lot of bodyweight stuff, so it's pretty different, but it's working out right now, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all missing the ice and skating. I mean, there's nothing like training and skating on the ice. I mean, there's really nothing like it. So hopefully this is over here soon, and we'll open up the rinks and get back to training and getting on the ice, So we're going through the questions here. Thank you guys for all these questions. I mean, it's been good. They're still coming in. I'm rolling through these here. I think Drew Gallant is saying, what are the chances of being an, I believe you're saying NHLer? It says NH. I'm not sure what that means. You may want to send another one there, Drew, on that one. He goes, what are the chances of being... Oh yeah, here we go. What are the chances of becoming an NHL player starting at the age of 5? Maybe I can answer that a little bit. I know a lot of these boys have and got the passion at 5 years old and are good players at that age and maybe are developed right now pretty good. And I see kids at 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old that are, really good players at their age, maybe now. But then I've seen a lot of kids that were maybe really good when they're young, and then by the time they're 14, 15, maybe didn't develop, or maybe didn't put all the time in, or maybe they thought they were really good when they're young, and then all of a sudden became just average by 14, 15, and other kids pass them. But then you see kids that are really good when they're young, and then they're really good when they're old as well. And they just keep on that same path. So I would say, continue to have that passion to make it to the NHL and to play at the highest level, which that is. But I will also say too that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't get all caught up in just that 1 year and maybe having a great year and or on the flip side of it, maybe not having such a great year or things just didn't go your way. I mean, just keep an even keel because, like I said before, there's lots of players that were just average growing up until Pee Wee or Bantam, and all of a sudden something just happened, and all of a sudden, boom. I mean, there's a kid Oh, there's a few from the Dallas area that, that are playing very high level hockey right now, and they're just above average growing up, or vice versa. A lot of kids were very good when they're young, and all of a sudden they didn't go anywhere by the time they were playing midget hockey, or going off to juniors. So just keep that passion, keep that desire to want to play at the highest level, and keep working hard on your skill. So, here's another question. Did you guys play any other sports in the off season when you were younger, Jackson?
Like when I was in I was in like elementary school. I was just playing like flag football, but honestly, that's about it. I just kind of stuck to hockey my whole life.
Okay.
For me, I was big in baseball growing up. Whenever I was, t-ball kinda. So I was big in baseball and hockey growing up, and then at age of 13, I made the decision just to quit baseball and just focus on hockey mainly, because that was more my passion. But I think it's really important to play multiple sports growing up, just so you can get different aspects and stuff. I mean, it translates to different games. So
I think it's very important that you play multiple sports, especially up to about 13 years old, 12, 13. I think it develops you as an athlete. I think every sport has something to offer you to make you a better athlete. In your coordination, whether it's soccer, playing with your eye-foot coordination, or the more you can become an all-rounded athlete, the better hockey player you'll become. So I think we're all sports nuts. We love all sports, and I think it's good to play multiple sports. But definitely got to choose one probably by 13, which is hopefully it's hockey, because it's the best sport out there for sure. Let's go to another question here. Here's a question. What do I need to catch up on if I started playing first year Bantam and want to go to the NHL? Well, if you started first year Bantam, you definitely got a late start to the game of hockey. Hockey's a little bit different than other sports like football or soccer. Hockey, you got to start, younger because of the skill sets. So I would say at this point, I would be trying to get on the ice as much as possible. Get some private lessons in with good coaching, good teaching, getting your skill sets up. Off the ice when you're at home, working on your shot, working on your stick handling. You're going to have to put a lot of time in for your skill sets. But you're going to have to get on the ice a lot, okay? And then hopefully you catch on to the game quick and can really develop quick, and then see where it goes from there. All right? So here's another one. Oh, Carson Frisky, you got another one. Cross, what does it mean to you when your dad says, put the hammer down? Cars. When the hammer's going down, the hammer's going down, boys. Just work it hard.
He's been saying that stuff ever since I was your guys' age also. Full throttle, there is no more than full throttle, full tilt. So, it's kind of is like a little just phrase you kind of go by. And everything, just always be full throttle, because if you're not pushing yourself to be better. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Jackson?
Yeah, I don't know, just going hard. I remember Coach Trevor always saying full throttle also.
Yeah.
She's always going hard.
See, they remember it. Even years later, they still remember she's full throttle, boys. Right? Half throttle, don't get her done. So, hey guys, I think it's about, we've been going for about a little over an hour now. And so I think we're going to wrap this up here. But we do have a question from Cross's uncle in Illinois. And he wants to know, what is Cross's favorite baseball and football team from Uncle Wick?
Oh, Uncle Wick, huge Chicago Cubs and Chicago Bears fans.
Oh, that's going to make Uncle Wick happy after this one.
Go Cubs, go Bears.
Yeah, he's a huge Chicago fan. So we are huge Chicago Cubby fans here. And as my wife Kimberly's from Illinois, just south of Chicago. And we are big Bear fans. Well, not so much me, but I am a Cubbies fan. Let's see here. If we have any more questions, we will answer. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. Is there anything that you guys want to add to this this hour session that we had and just talked about your guys' careers and about hockey and about the ins and outs and the you know the positives and negatives and you know I guess really just the whole grind of it all and where you guys are now. Jackson, any more thoughts?
Yeah, I'll just say, like, it doesn't matter where you're at, if you're a young guy or even like 14 or 15. You just always got to work on your game if you really want it. And that's just what's most important. If you just really want it, you'll get there.
Okay, that's awesome.
I think
Cross?
just to add along with that, I mean, there's no more important skill than passion, I think. So, I mean, if you have the passion for the game, just working hard all the time and putting the time and effort in. And, I mean, yeah, growing up every day, just, I don't know, working hard and stuff like that. Just, like, love the grind, kind of, is what I always say. So, I mean, just love growing up, love doing all that stuff all the time, and hopefully you'll get there someday.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, I would say, you know, you got to really work hard. I mean, you got to put a lot of work ethic into it, and only the ones that mentally want it, that have the passion for the game in their heart, are the ones that really make it at the end and climb that mountain. I always say it's a mountain, and every year as you get older, that mountain gets a little bit narrower, and players seem to fall off that edge of the mountain. And it's really the ones that really want it, really work hard, are good teammates, act right, great attitude. I mean, I've seen a lot of players that were good players, but they had a bad attitude, or they weren't a good teammate, or they didn't treat their coach right, and those guys just fall off. They eventually get weeded out, and you know, you got to have all those attributes that make you a good player, and as well as the skill sets and the work ethic, and you know, hopefully you guys can be here one day where, you know, Jackson and Cross are at their point right now. You know, and obviously they got a goal to play in the National Hockey League, but they're only 17, 18 years old. They're still young, and but they got a lot of work ahead of them. I mean, the grind and the process for them is not even close to being like, it's really just kind of getting started. And they know it's a grind, and you got to work. There's a lot of guys and a lot of hockey players, not only in the USA for their age and, you know, a few years older and younger, but Canada and Sweden and Russia and Czech Republic. There's great players everywhere. So that's who you're going against, and so you got to really work hard and you got to be focused. So anyway, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this session here with us, and hopefully we'll get to do this again, and maybe we could talk about a different topic or whatever, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this time. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.